The signs of Dodge City's Wild West past are everywhere in town. The legends of lawmen cleaning up the city's crime are part of American lore. But it's a recent shooting along the banks of the Arkansas River involving a Hispanic immigrant and two white, self-described good old boys that has Dodge making news across the nation again.
If people knew the facts of the case, they would understand, number one, why this wasn't a racial incident at all.
As you can see, the riverbed of the Arkansas River here in Dodge City is mostly dry. It's now used by people here in town for recreational activities, jogging, walking your dog, and four-wheeling. On Labor Day, Sam Bonilla was walking his dog here with his son.
We view him as a pillar in our community.
Bonilla is known amongst Hispanics in Dodge as a deeply Christian man who taught youngsters self-defense. He has a tattoo proclaiming through Jesus all things are possible. Also in the Arkansas riverbed that day, another man with another tattoo. This one, though, had nothing to do with Jesus. It belonged to a man named Steve Holt.
His cockiness captured me immediately, his cocky grin.
Patty Holt was Steve Holt's wife. She describes her husband as a fun-loving redneck who liked drinking beer and four-wheeling. That's just what he was doing when he buzzed by Sam Bonilla in a pickup truck with his friend Tanner Brunson. By the time it was over, one of these men would be dead and another would be charged with murder.
Normally you would not think of those three people as people that were going to be involved in a homicide.
Bonilla was upset because he thought the truck tried to run him over. Holt and Brunson didn't care for Bonilla acting like a buzzkill. As the two approached, Bonilla brandished a small .22, killing Holt with a shot to the heart and wounding Brunson in the back. A prayer vigil outside a Dodge City courtroom wasn't for the victim. It was for the shooter, Sam Bonilla, and what followed in court has highlighted a racial divide in Dodge. Many Hispanics didn't feel Bonilla could get a fair trial.
We need some changes in our community.
Rebecca Escalante used to employ Bonilla. She's a bail bondsman. She says she sees whites and Hispanics treated differently, with whites nearly always getting lower bail and lighter sentences. She says she's seen Hispanics roughed up by police and requests for investigations ignored.
I really like our police officers or sheriff's people. They're very polite, very good. And I think they're doing their jobs, but I really do believe that there's a few police that make everybody else look bad.
Ford County Attorney Terry Malone says this had nothing to do with race and everything to do with three egos getting in the way of good sense. Malone says Bonilla never warned the two that he was armed, and two Hispanic women did not support Bonilla's claim that Holt and Brunson were out to run down Hispanics.
They said that was baloney. It didn't happen. They were not in any danger.
In the end, while Bonilla claimed self-defense, he still took a plea deal for 5 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. Steve Holt's widow, Patty, is devastated. Her husband's killing was clouded by claims of racism. She points out Steve spoke Spanish, and a Hispanic man was the best man at their wedding. Patty Holt readily admits her husband looked intimidating and could be confrontational, but she believes Holt just wanted to get in Bonilla's face for yelling at them. It didn't appear to anybody that they were going over to have a polite conversation. Did you think that Stephen was going to go over there and harm him?
No.
Why not?
Because I've known Stephen for over 15 years, and I've never known him to throw the first punch.
We have a new situation in Dodge involving the Latino community. And frankly, folks, we need to deal with that situation.
City Manager Ken Strobel doesn't believe his city is racist, but admits this case has been a lesson for Dodge leaders. Hispanics now make up half of the city. The crowd listening to his State of the City address at a chamber event, though, was nearly entirely white.
What we need to gain from that is we have a job to do.
The current relationship is there's no relationship.
Unrest over the Bonilla case has led to a meeting between city leaders and local Hispanics monitored by the Justice Department. Talk was dominated by discussion of mistreatment by police.
If the Hispanic community believes that there's law enforcement is not fair to them, then we've got to deal with that, because we can't have that in our community.
What has many in the Hispanic community optimistic is the hiring of a new police chief. He speaks Spanish fluently. His department of 50 officers has just 3 who are bilingual.
I want him to know that I'm there to help him, and we are there to help him.
As Dodge City moves on, Patty Holt remains a widow. She too hopes the city does a better job embracing its Hispanic residents. She just wishes it didn't take her husband's death to bring everyone closer together.
I wish a lot of things would have been different that day.
In Dodge City, Justin Kraemer, KSN News. Sedgwick County's jail is full.
I work in booking and there's always people sleeping on the floor. There you go.
Overcrowded. And it may be 2 days before I get to go upstairs. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 days.
There's more men and women here than the jail was ever intended to hold.
Anxiety levels go up, your tensions, the stress, I mean, you name it. Fights get thrown, I mean, everything goes out of whack.
More fights, frustrated, stressful. You get irritated.
It's a place where people charged with misdemeanors live side by side along prisoners accused of committing the community's most violent crimes.
You mind if I ask you what you're in for?
Murder.
Yusef Samad has been locked up since July. Police say he stabbed his ex-girlfriend to death as her 12-year-old son tried to stop him.
I see a lot of people come through the jail with like petty crimes versus people like me who are in here for more serious crimes who probably need to be here.
In the pods where the prisoners are housed, the sheriff's department added 90 beds by double bunking some prisoners. It was phase 1 of a 3-phase double bunking plan. Concerns over inmate safety convinced jailers to abandon phases 2 and 3.
Would you rather be in a single than this, or?
Sure, I think all of us would, you know, but that just ain't gonna happen.
Tony Haskett has been in jail a couple of weeks. He's locked up on charges of aggravated battery and aggravated burglary. Haskett expects to be in here for a while.
Just too many people. There's just, in a little environment like this, you know, there's too many attitudes and you know how it goes, you know, doing time.
The jail pushed past its capacity in 2003 when the average daily population reached 1,285. It's climbed each year since. For 2009, the Sheriff's Department was mandated to jail an average of 1,645 prisoners a day. In the fall, population peaked at 1,736 inmates.
We have way more inmates than this facility can hold. Our only option is to ship out of county.
It's 6 a.m. on a Thursday, and these inmates here are all being transported out of the Sedgwick County Jail to other jails all across Kansas simply because there's not enough room here in Wichita for them.
In the middle of the night, around 36 prisoners are all woken up, handed a box, and then told they're moving.
Hey guys, follow me.
These inmates are off to counties in every corner of Kansas.
Now all of a sudden, you know, 3 in the morning, they're being told, you got to leave. You've got to go to another county where you've never been before, maybe hours away from family, and you don't have a choice. Somebody has to go out of county so we can bring somebody back to go to court.
In just the last 3 years, the number of inmates sent off to other counties keeps growing, from an average of 235 a day in 2007 to 358 a day in 2009.
Yeah.
Sedgwick County pays other counties a fee to hold its inmates in their jails, from $2.5 million in 2007 to nearly $4 million last year.
You ain't got way too many people in here. I mean, like, as soon as you go to court, right after court, they send you right out of county to a county somewhere far out. You ain't even heard of the place before.
We had more inmates housed out of county this past summer than the original jail was designed to hold.
After approving a $55 million jail expansion, county commissioners took the construction project out of the 2008 budget to offer tax relief instead. There are no plans to bring the expansion project back to life, but county leaders agree something needs to be done.
I think we've reached the point where we understand that we're going to have another facility of some sort.
Exactly what the county will do remains up for debate. The same debate that's been argued for over 8 years and continues to be argued as the population steadily climbs at the county jail. For Kansas Today, Justin Kraemer, KSN News.